I know that guy.
Yeah, she was getting our next guest ready, who, well, we will introduce to you very well now.
Because we are going to take a little trip down to West Branch. I was only, or the home of I was only president.
And I was only home to a president, too.
I wasn't sure how to say that.
Aaron Scheinblum's here.
How are you,
My
Justin?
brother
Great
from
to
another
see you.
mother. I am the third Scheinblum.
You are.
But you have the cool job because you essentially get to re-elect Herbert Hoover every day when you go to work.
It makes it very easy when he has the resume that he does to make that case.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say I have a better job. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you get to elect president every day. Well, let's talk about big event coming up tonight. We're even going to look into the crystal ball, what you guys have coming up. But this is a rare opportunity tonight that people can partake in free of charge.
Yeah, that was the really big thing for us. So we've kind of advertised it as something called An Evening with John Roy Price. And ultimately, the goal behind it was, for those that are not familiar with the name, John Roy Price was someone who worked with President Richard Nixon as a special domestic policy advisor. Okay. And ultimately what he did is it still cool to make Hamilton references?
Absolutely.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Everybody.
All right,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
well, ultimately you want to be in the room where it happens, right? And a lot of times you don't have that opportunity. You don't have that insight. So really what this is an opportunity to go into the room where it happens. Here's some of the most important discussions that happened with President Richard Nixon behind closed doors that created some of the policies, some of that are still impacted today.
Yeah.
Well, and of all the presidents to get behind closed doors with, what an interesting subject matter without going either way here, but just what a great opportunity to have this guy at your disposal here in Iowa tonight to visit with and hear from.
Well, and I think that's what makes it so interesting is that, you know, I think a lot of people may or may not understand that President Nixon really worked with both sides of the aisle to accomplish a lot of different things. When you think about things relating to, as far as the expansion of food stamps and things related to that nature, a lot of work was done to really get people in a better position to succeed. And I think that was the really clear parallel between Hoover and Nixon, is that they both did a lot of great work to protect families, to help children. I mean, it made a lot of sense for us, and obviously with Mr. Price's ties to Iowa, to bring him here and then again to offer it for free. You know, it's not virtual. You got to come in and see it. But ultimately, it is very special for us to just be able to offer that, because it is something completely unique.
It is, because these are things you just don't hear about.
Yeah.
So the chance to sit down for free and hear these stories is incredible.
Yeah, and of course for the bookworms out there, right? There will be an opportunity to hear about, you know, more about his book. He did write a memoir related to his time in the White House and a lot of the work that he did with Senator Moynihan from New York, who was a Democratic senator. So really, it's unbelievable to see the opportunity that we've been presented with, and you know, with all this connections to Iowa. I mean, he served on the board at Grinnell for almost half a century.
Wow.
So
just a youngster.
And I will say, in talking with him, you know, he did say he felt, you know, essentially reinvigorated, really excited to be here tonight. So I'm very eager to listen to what he has to say. And it's not just because I'm being told to say that. I want to make that clear. It is important. We are excited.
Yes.
Before we talk about what else you guys have coming up, remind everybody the when, the where, and all that, so we can put it on the calendar for tonight.
Yeah, great point. So it is tonight, 7 o'clock. There is no reservation that needs to be made, no ticket that needs to be bought. Ultimately, all you have to do is show up to the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and Museum down in West Branch, go into the auditorium, and enjoy the show. It should be a lot of fun.
Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very easy. Okay, you always have great events down there. So what holiday events do you have planned coming up?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Right now, we've still got our temporary exhibit thrift style, which Justin has not returned my calls, by the way. So it might just be you and I that have to go down there and see it together.
Fair enough.
So that's number one. Number two is we will have to make sure we've got a lot of different things coming up. I mean, next week we have our final virtual seminar, essentially the third Thursday seminar that we do. And then ultimately, West Branch in general is a very exciting time for the holidays. I know there's Christmas past coming up at the beginning of the month that always gets people excited. And I will just say this, not to necessarily tease, but we're in television, right? People like teases. I will say that as far as the next year is concerned, it is Herbert Hoover and Lou Henry Hoover's 150th birthday all next year.
Okay.
So without spoiling too much, I will just say that there is a lot coming.
Yes, keep that in mind.
Sesquicentennial shenanigans afoot.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. Rehearsing. Good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely. Great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Stick around.